Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday morning to you, and welcome back to Morning Musings. I appreciate you being with me. Hope and pray that you are healthy. Hope and pray that your loved ones are healthy. Please be constant, be cautious, be careful, and be constant in prayer. All right? We are continuing our examination of Matthew chapter 24 and verse 32. Look, it's really critical that we grasp the significance of this passage. The disciples asked Jesus, "What shall be the sign of your coming and of the end of the age?" Jesus gave signs. The preaching of the gospel into all of the world, the abomination of desolation, and the great tribulation. And he said, these are the signs of the end. This gospel of the kingdom will be preached into all of the world as a witness to the nations. Then comes the end. Then you have the abomination of desolation, followed by the great tribulation. And immediately after the great tribulation, they will see the Son of Man coming. Those are signs of the very things that his apostles asked about. Now, what is absolutely so incredibly significant is, as I shared with you yesterday, in my book, Into All the World, Then Comes the End. And I wrote this book some years ago. But I want to tell you what, I felt then, and I still feel today, this book is incredibly significant. And I can tell you this book has literally changed the lives of thousands upon thousands of people. Because I have heard from people who have said, I had absolutely no idea of how clear the Bible is that the world mission had been completed in the first century. And of course, different people say, well, Jesus meant one thing when he used the word world. He was using the globe. But Paul, he wasn't speaking in the same sense. Where do we get that idea? I've been told countless numbers of times that the word "gi," translated as earth or land, has to be the globe when Jesus used it, but not when Paul uses it. Not when Paul says the gospel had been preached, into all of the world. Where's the distinction? Where does Paul say, now look, I know that Jesus said something greater than me. I know that what Jesus said and predicted hasn't been fulfilled. I just want to tell you that I'm speaking on a smaller scale than him. Look, Paul tells us in Galatians chapter 1, 10 and following, the gospel which I received, I did not receive it from angels nor of men, but from Jesus Christ himself. So in that gospel that Paul received directly from Jesus, did he not receive the mandate to go into all of the world? Well, according to Acts 21, he did. And so, what I want to share with you, I don't know that I'll have time in this morning's video. What I want to share with you, as I shared with you yesterday, and I'm taking this directly from the chart for ease of reference that is found in my book, Into All the World, Then Comes the End. As I mentioned to you yesterday, on one side of the column, we have every word that Jesus used to predict the preaching of the gospel into all of the world, to all of the nations, to every creature, to the earth, to all of the nations. On the other column, we have Paul's statements in his epistles written somewhere in the early 60s, stating that the gospel had been preached to all the world. Now let me illustrate that. In Matthew 24:14, Jesus said the gospel would be preached into all the world, or Greek word oikoumene. In Romans 10:18, Paul said the gospel had been preached into all of the world, oikoumene. In Mark 16 and verse 15, Jesus said, go preach the gospel into all of the world, Greek word cosmos. And in Colossians chapter 1, verses 5 to 7, Paul said the gospel had been preached into all the world and was bringing forth fruit in all the world. Again, in Mark chapter 16 and verse 15, Jesus said, preach the gospel to every creature, Greek word katisis. In Colossians chapter 1 and verse 23, Paul, writing approximately 62, maybe 63 AD, said the gospel had been preached to every creature under heaven. Jesus said in Matthew chapter 28 and verse 19, go therefore and teach all nations, Greek word ethnoi. Paul in Romans 16 and verse 25 and 26 said the gospel had been made known to all the nations. In Acts chapter 1 and verse 8, Jesus said that the apostles were to be his witnesses in Judea and Samaria and to the uttermost parts of the earth, Greek word gi. And in Romans 10:18, Paul said the sound of the gospel had been declared in all of the earth. Now keep in mind that Jesus said the gospel will be preached in all the world as a witness to the nations, then comes the end. Well, consider this. In Romans chapter 10, verse 18, Paul uses two of those words, right? Two of those words that Jesus used to command it, and Paul uses two of those words to say it had been done in Romans 10:18. And then notice what he says in Romans chapter 13, 11 and following. Remember, this is after saying it had been done. Knowing this, and now knowing the time. Now, this is literally, the word here is hora, and it's literally hour. You know the hour. That now it is high time to awaken out of sleep, for now is our salvation nearer than when we first believed. The night is far spent, the day is at hand, literally has drawn near. Therefore, let us cast off the works of darkness and let us put on the armor of light. So here we have Paul in a statement sandwiched between two declarations that the gospel had been preached into all of the world, Romans 10:18 using two of the words, and Romans 16:26 using an additional word. So sandwiched between three of the words that Jesus used to predict and to command the preaching of the gospel into all the world, Paul uses those three words to say it had been done, and he says, the night is far spent, the day has drawn near. Now wait a minute, Jesus said this gospel would be preached in all the world as a witness to the nation, then comes the end. Paul said the gospel has been preached into all of the world, and the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Jesus said when you see these things come to pass, you'll know that it's nigh, even at the door. Paul says these things have been fulfilled, the day is at hand. It has drawn near. Folks, how much clearer could language be? This is prophecy given, prophecy fulfilled. Now don't forget, for the month of April, and this, I got to tell you, this is probably the best special I've ever offered you. Israel and the Land Promises. A 6 DVD set, normally $39.95. Is that correct on that? Let me remind myself here. Yes, $39.95 plus $4.95 shipping. 70 weeks are determined for the resurrection because the Olivet Discourse is all about Daniel's 70 weeks. And into all of the world then comes the end. If you purchase these separately and paid shipping on them, they would cost you $85. Purchase separately and separate postage. But then we have the book, Israel 1948, which is regularly $6.95 plus $4.95 shipping, so that's an additional $11. For the month of April, for U.S. orders only, I cannot make this offer by any means for out of U.S. orders. If you want any of these, the Israel and the Land is available for download on my website, donkpreston.com, BibleProphecy.com. I can make these available to you in PDF form at a greatly reduced price. But go to my website, and by the way, total delivered price, $55 for U.S. orders only, all right? Go to my website, donkpreston.com, BibleProphecy.com. There's a banner right up at the very top. All you have to do is click on it, and it'll march you right through it. Now again, for out of U.S. orders, contact me if you'd like to take advantage of this great special price. Honestly, I can't believe I'm offering it this cheap. This is absolutely fantastic price, but these are hard times. These are unprecedented times. So I'm offering this unprecedented great price to you. Well, thank you so much for joining me for this morning's Morning Musings. Don't forget, tomorrow we will continue our refutation of Mr. Lance Conley's book, Hope Resurrected. We will be back in Isaiah chapter 65, and you're going to be seeing some things about the new creation, the day of the Lord and the new creation, the life in the new creation, that absolutely, completely falsifies and refutes Mr. Lance Conley's view of election. You don't want to miss it. So I'll see you on the flip side.